Yo guys, how are you doing? In this tutorial, we're gonna talk about how we can demonstrate our data in chart or plot or any kind of chart which you want. So imagine that you have some data in your database, and in this case, actually, I'm just gonna explain the scenario for you. So imagine that you have a Django web app, and in your Django web app, you have a middleware, which that middleware is just going to get the IP address of each user which come to your website, and then calculate and then try to figure it out what that IP address is for which country, and then try to save those IP address with the country in the database and some data in the database, and then you're trying to use certain way which you want to demonstrate those data in the plot like this, like in the graph or chart or any kind of plot which you want. And there are tons of ways to do that, and some ways which I prefer to do them, like using client base, is like charts. There is a JavaScript. Actually, I gotta search for it, so I'm gonna search here because I want to show you. JS show chart and plots, uh, chart.js. Okay, actually you can simply use this. You can simply try to add this CDN into your web application and try to use this. But this is one of the best way to use JavaScript library in your front-end web app. Like it's a client-based way how you can do the same. But in this tutorial, I want I want to explain how you guys can do the same using Python itself and using matplotlib module in your Django web app. So as I explained to you, that's the scenario. You have some data in your database, which I already explained the scenario for you, and you want to display those data in an organized way inside the plot or graph or chart or anything else which you want, because you want to demonstrate that data in an organized way in the chart or plot or like any kind of chart or plot which you want. One of the way is to using like is a client-based way to using chart.js library. Try to add that CDN in your website and try to use it. There are tons of ways out there, but the second way, which I prefer to do it right now, actually, it is not the best way, but because it was interesting for me, so I was like, okay, let's go explain about this. Because most of the people they talk about that way, client based, because it is one of the best way actually and most efficient. But now I want to tell you how you can do the same with matplotlib. So as I told you, you have some data in your database, and I explained to you, and I'm gonna show you those data right now. So I'm gonna open up my SQLite right now. I'm gonna go to my open database, and here SQLite. Okay, I have a table called GeoTracker Visitor plus table. I have some random data here with a certain IP address with a country and visits. Okay, so imagine you want to show all of this information except the IP address. Uh, you're trying to display them inside the chart or plot or any kind of graph. So you can simply use this module. So I'm going to explain your requirements. First, we're going to use base64 module to the purpose of using this module is to try to convert our image file into base64, because we want to aim that image file inside our template, inside HTML template. We don't want to spend our time for file management. We don't want to save the image inside the database. We don't want to care about file management. We want to aim that image, try to aim it inside the template like this. So we don't want to save that file, like we don't want to save the file. That's why we use this to convert that image to the base64 and try to use that base64 result and aim it to our HTML template. And we have the matplotlib module definitely, so we import that and we use ag I'm gonna show you what exactly it's just going to do actually. And so I'm gonna go to my Firefox. I'm gonna write ACK stands for I'm looking for that English word actually, like what ACK. Okay, let me write it. What stand for in matplotlib. Actually, I'm trying to look what does ACK mean. This one backend here. Yeah, here anti-grain geometry. Okay, here you have anti-grain geometry. So now I'm gonna explain to you. So in our matplotlib module, we have word called backend, and that backend has purpose to generate the plots or generate the charts based on the information. But we have two different backend. One backend is for generated plots for the interactive, like for the like Windows application, like especially for application, not web application, like Windows application, imagine that. And that plot is gonna be like interactive plots which user can interact with the plot, and it's just gonna open the chart or plot in the window. But if you don't wanna have that, and if you don't wanna use matplotlib and generate that graph in your Windows application, and you have web application like Django or Flask, so in that way you have to use anti-grain geometry, which is going to make your plot to be I don't know the English word, uninteractive or interactive. Actually, I don't know. Interactive, interactive, and the other one. Actually, right now I don't know the English. Anyway, so it's just going to make your plot to avoid it to open up from the window, and because we don't need that plot for interactive way, we need to generate that plot, we need to save that plot to the image with any format which we want, like PNG here, and we need to convert that plot into base 64, and after that we need to aim that base 64 into our HTML template. So because we don't have window application, here is a website, and we don't need interactive plot, so we use this, and we're gonna import it and then use it as PLT or whatever you want, like test, because it is so long if we want to use that. That's why I try to use as PLT and then use this instead of this. And then here I try to import bytes, and the reason for that is because I don't wanna care about file management, and as I told you, I don't want to save the image file, and because as you can see, this is like an image, like so I don't want to save that image file inside the database. So I want to create the temporary memory and try to use matplotlib to generate the plot based on the data to the generated plot based on data to the certain image format like PNG. And then because I don't want to save it, so I have to store it somewhere. Where I can store it, I can store it in the memory. So because I don't want to save it, I wanna store it in the memory. That's why I use this module to store it inside the memory, and then try to convert that information which is stored inside the memory to base 64, and then emd it inside our template. So that's how it works. We have our models because we want to use the data of this model to demonstrate and display that data inside the graph. So this tree is for that model which I told you, and we have the shortcut render because we're trying to render the template which we want. Okay, let's go explain. I'm just gonna explain faster because it's just gonna take a lot of time if I'm going to explain like that line by line by line. So this part is a way how we can query the database, like query the data. Like here, your database query to get the data. So we have to get the data from database. So we're gonna get different kind of data from database, like country. What is this actually? Okay, here I'm gonna close this. Like we have different data here. We have country, visit, IP address, ID. So we're gonna organize all of this information, and we're gonna get all of this information and data and try to query them, like try to save them in certain variable which we want, and then we can use those data to generate our plot. So after we try to after we already get the data from database, we try to generate the plot using matplotlib module. So we're gonna put the title, y label, x label is for let me show you here. We have x, as you can see, it is for x label countries. We have x label and we have y label and we have the title definitely. So we're gonna just config that, and we're gonna say to our matplotlib to use that data to generate the certain plot which we want, subplot. Okay, with any size which we want, we can make it bigger, smaller, whatever. So then we try to save that plot into the PNG with the PNG format, but because we don't want to save it as a file, because we don't want to care about the file management, we use this byte module to save it inside the memory instead of the real file. Then that memory gonna get uh, clean. So close the figure to free up the memory, so that memory gonna get clean again. So we didn't save any file, but we create the file. Actually, we didn't create the file, we save the file inside the memory for like temporary memory for a couple of second or whatever time. As long as we didn't generate it to base 64, we have it inside our memory. When we generate it to base 64, then we're gonna close and free up the memory, because we don't want to care about file management, we didn't save it. That's why we use this byte to store the information inside the memory instead of saving in the file. So that's why. And we try to encode that image which we already stored the information inside the memory. We try to encode it to base 64 because that's the way how verification works. Like everything which you see inside the verification, like templates, HTML templates, they have to generate to base 64 so we can read it and we can see it. That's the methodology and the way how verification works. So we have to try to encode the image to with the base 64, and then we can embed that image inside our template. So it's not going to be image, right? It's not going to be image. It is not going to save inside the database. It's not going to be image. It's going to be base 64 data inside the template. So, and then we return it, and then here we simply try to create a context with that image with the base 64 with we're gonna try to create a context for that image which we already converted to base 64, and then we're trying to return that context to our template which we want to display to user. That's the way how it works. Okay, so and after that, as I told you, we use that context inside our template. So geotracker.html, here I have it, geotracker.html, image base 64. As you can see, we have it now because I already returned the context to this template. Now I can use this. But if I didn't return the context, it couldn't understand what is image underline base 64 is. Okay, so that's how it works actually. So now, right now, you can simply, in a beautiful way and in an organized way, you can see like when admin user come to admin panel, go to GeoTracker page, chart underline image, they can see this beautiful plot with the organized information. Like all of this information are the organized information which we already get it from the here, which we already queried from database, all of this information, and then we show it in an organized way here. So that's how it works. I hope you guys like this tutorial. So in this tutorial you already learn how we can generate, how we can organize our data from the database and display that data in any kind of plot which we want using matplotlib module in Python with a inside the Django framework for web application. I hope you guys like this tutorial. If you guys have any question, you can comment below. If you guys want me to record any kind of video which you like, comment me. I'm just gonna record it for you guys. And that's everything for now. That's it. Don't forget to subscribe my channel, because that's the only thing which can give me energy to keep continue. Love you everybody. Take care. Have a good night.